For decades, Stephen King's novel The Long Walk has been this absolute gut punch of a story that readers just can't shake. Well, guess what? It's finally hit the big screen. But to make that happen, the filmmakers did something incredibly bold. They completely changed the ending. So let's break down how they did it, and maybe more importantly, why.
So picture this, a version of America where the biggest national obsession is also its deadliest sporting event. Every year, 100 teenage boys are chosen. They have to walk and walk and walk. There's no finish line. The whole thing only stops when there's just one person left standing. It's a brutal concept, and to even begin to understand it, you have to know the rules of the game.
All right, first up, the deadliest game. The rules are what make this whole thing a complete nightmare.
The rules are just chillingly simple. You have to walk at 4 miles an hour. That's it. No stopping, no slowing down. If you do, you get a warning. You get 3 of those. But if you get a 4th one, well, they say you get your ticket. And what that really means is a bullet from the soldiers who are watching your every move. The last boy walking gets the prize. Literally anything he could ever want for the rest of his life.
You know, this whole brutal game, it isn't just some sci-fi fantasy. King actually wrote this way back in the late 1960s. And it's pretty clear it's a powerful allegory for the Vietnam War. I mean, think about it. It's basically a draft lottery, where young men are sent on this long, seemingly pointless march, and their deaths are turned into a public spectacle.
Okay, so to really get why the movie's change is such a big deal, we have to go back to the book's original ending. And let me tell you, it is incredibly grim. There is absolutely no silver lining here.
So in the novel, it comes down to 3 guys. Our main character, Ray Garratti, his friend McVries, and this other walker, Stebbins. McVries just gives up. He decides there's no point, sits down, and is shot. Then Stebbins, the guy who seemed like he could walk forever, just collapses, dead from pure exhaustion. So Garratti wins, but at what cost? His mind completely snaps. He doesn't even acknowledge the prize, he just starts running, chasing this dark figure that only he can see. It's a victory that feels like a total and complete defeat.
And that, right there, brings us to the movie's single biggest change. I mean, the filmmakers didn't just tweak a few things. They fundamentally changed who walks away at the end.
Yup, you are seeing that correctly. The last man standing in the film is not the book's protagonist, Ray Garratti. It's his best friend from the walk, Peter McVees. This is a massive, massive change that really reframes the entire story.
And listen, if you think that's a wild twist, you're not alone. The change was so huge that even the cast got nervous. Mark Hamill, who plays the villain, the Major, said when he first read it, he literally thought, uh-oh. He knew this was a huge gamble that could really tick off longtime fans of the book.
So how exactly does this new ending go down? Well, it's actually Garratti who uses his last bit of energy to convince McVries not to give up. And then, in this incredible moment of sacrifice, Garratti just sits down. He chooses to die so his friend can live, telling him, I can't see it, you can. McVries wins, and for his prize, he asks for a gun and executes the Major, getting the revenge that Garratti was after. This all leads to the big question, right? Why? Why would you make such a radical change to a story that people have loved for decades? Well, let's dive into what the director was thinking.
Okay, so the first reason was all about storytelling. The director, Francis Lawrence, knew that everyone watching would just assume the main character, Garratti, is gonna win. That's how stories work. So he said he loved the idea of just flipping that on its head and delivering a real shock. But there was a much deeper, more thematic reason too. See, in the movie, Garratti is driven by revenge against the Major. And Francis Lawrence felt that, you don't really want the guy motivated by pure vengeance to win. He thought the victory should go to McVries, the character who really represents friendship and hope. It turns the story into one where sacrifice, not revenge, is the only real victory possible.
So what about the man himself, the author of that classic, bleak ending? What did Stephen King think of this enormous change? Here's maybe the biggest surprise of all. He absolutely loved it.
According to the director, King gave it his blessing because even though the events were totally different, the new ending stayed true to the spirit of the book. It still captured that sense of bleakness, the theme of sacrifice, and the harsh critique of the whole brutal system that's at the heart of the story.
So, how do we square these 2 completely different endings? Well, it's pretty fascinating, because it turns out that even with different winners, both the book and the film are really exploring the same powerful ideas.
I mean, both versions are a blistering critique of our obsession with violent entertainment. Both still work as that incredible metaphor for the senselessness of war. And both are, at their core, these intense studies of friendship under the most extreme pressure you can imagine. The new ending just adds one more layer to it all, a really direct statement about choosing sacrifice over revenge.
And all of that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. Which story is actually more powerful? The one where the winner survives, only to lose his mind showing the true, devastating cost of the game? Or is it the one where the hero makes the ultimate sacrifice so that his friend can win and strike one last blow against the system? It's a debate that is now right at the heart of the long walk.